It's no secret that microsites are one of the best ways to make money online right now. So I asked ChatGPT, I said, look, what are the 13 things that are, common pitfalls that people fall into when they do this concept, when they do this business model, right? So we're going to talk about it today with Shawn Buckles, the co-founder of the Rank Expand Academy. We're going to see if ChatGPT knows what it's talking about in regards to microsites. We're going to use our own personal experience. We have 78 microsites that we've built together, and next year we're going to build 1,000 of them. That's the goal, right? So let's just jump into it. Let's talk about this thing. All right, so we've built 78 microsites together, and ChatGPT has 13 different things here that are saying, don't do this or you're going to screw everything up. You'll never have success with microsites. It's all going to explode, right? So let's go one by one, see if it's legit. Number one is weak or generic content. So most microsites, they flop because they're stuffed with thin content, etc. What is your take on this?
I think we were amazed at how thin the content could be and how generic the content could be. But I do want to add to that you do need to be on point with certain things. So I think semantics is very important, like optimizing your headings the right way. So I think our content feels generic to us because we have built a lot of sites with this like recipe, but it's still very good SEO content. Our websites, I don't think we have very branded websites. What do you think?
They're not branded. No,
So
no.
it's pretty generic in that way.
How many words would you say our pages are?
Most are going to be between 800 and 1,000 words, something like that.
Okay.
And then the location pages are going to be a little bit longer.
Well, it says, okay, if you have thin content, 600 or less, that's a problem. Well, we've got that. We've already taken care of that. It says AI content with no topical depth. I'd
Mhm.
propose we have internal links everywhere. There is
Yes.
topical depth. No entity grounded or local relevance. We are always, always, always hitting on that local relevance, especially, and entity grounded. And then no semantic support pages, which is interesting because we do not do blog posts on our website.
Well, mind you, that semantic support pages could be different things. So the common one is blogs, right? But we use other types of support pages for semantic relevance. And also, I would say that we build out multiple service pages that are not the target keyword, like the primary service. And that is also to build semantic relevance, I think.
Good point. Good point. All right. So number two, EMD without any brand signal. Okay. And EMD ranks fast until Google sees no brand entity signals, no social profiles, no trust markers, no citations, no NAP integrity. Interesting. What do you think?
Half of this is aligned with our experience and the other half isn't. So I don't think we have a lot of brand entity signals. We don't have social profiles and things like that, but we do citations and we do have NAP integrity. And I think that is the 80/20 of it. I think that is what we always hit pretty hard and consistently. And I think that is what pushes us over the line.
Agree. And 80/20 is our ethos.
Yes.
And that, I mean, that's
Yes.
throughout the whole process. There's a reason why we can build a $10 website that costs us $2.50 a month that can outrank big dog websites. It's because we only focus on what really, really matters, right? And we
Yes.
scale. Number three, this is interesting. ChatGPT says no authority building is a big problem. So most microsites never get links because the owner thinks EMD equals magic. I think
We
they're
do
magic.
too. Yeah.
I'd say
Yeah.
this one's wrong.
I do agree that it says authority makes them stick. I think we do have some authority signals, and I think we do model authority very well. We do citations, obviously, but the internal linking is on point. And we have conversions, right? That is something we discussed in other podcast. The user metrics are very good on these websites, which is also a form of authority, I'd say.
So okay, let's hit on that. These are not WordPress websites that take forever to load, number one. When someone clicks on us in the SERPs, it loads almost instantly, right?
Yes.
Flat CMS system. It's not WordPress. It's not Webflow. Number two, like you said, the user engagement, when they get on the website, they don't bounce because it took forever to load, but then they call our AI phone number or AI agent. And Google knows, likely because it does monitor Chrome, whatever else, that someone was on our website for 5 minutes, right? They probably were satiated. So good point, good call on that, the user engagement. Number 4, ChatGPT says over-optimizing the homepage is a big issue. Keyword stuffing, H1s, spammy title tags, overloading service lists, repeating the keyword every sentence.
I don't know. I don't agree. I think I do agree that over optimizing could be a problem, but I think that we are not near that threshold, and I think people under optimize stuff as well. So I'm not afraid to put the keyword throughout the site, throughout every heading. I think it works very well.
I think that's the MO for local SEO. Everyone does that. I don't think Google's going to penalize, you know, a company for doing that because everyone's already doing it. It's just
And we have the data, and we have websites that are like over a year old. So the sandbox. So if they would rank that site only purely semantically, which they do in the first round, they just scan the headings, they just scroll the sitemap, and they say, all right, this belongs somewhere over here on the SERP. Then after 8 months, the real algorithm kicks in, where they throw some compute behind it, they crawl the actual website, and I've seen websites of mine, case studies that then get dropped. Like after 8 months, they're all of a sudden they're gone. Our websites, they stand strong, so I don't see the sandbox thing playing out.
interested. Right. Right. So initially, Google might see the website and do like a surface level scan and say, all right, I think this belongs here.
Yeah.
And then as user engagement happens more and more, the sandbox is tricky in local SEO because we see people in the community build a website, build a microsite, and then it ranks almost immediately.
Yeah. We also see that some sites get smacked down quite quickly as well, and then they never return. So that could be like initial testing. All right, it doesn't work, it doesn't convert, and it's gone. But usually there are like technical issues then. Our sites, we've never seen that. They either rank very fast and they stay there, or they go like this. They oscillate. They go up, they go, and they fall off like from first page to position 80, 90, something like that, and back. And they do that for like a month, and then they stabilize. So I don't know about the sandbox.
Previous podcast, I think we talked about like the third rule. Like a third of our websites, they crush, absolutely crush. A third of them are mediocre, and a third of them fall flat on their face.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's about right. I think that's a good rule of thumb.
The cool part is these websites only cost $10 to make for us or whatever. Depends if we do citations, probably closer to 50 if we have a VA and citations.
Yeah, so 3 websites is going to be $150. That is including the domain name for the first year. And so you'll have one good website for $150. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. All right, number 5, ChatGPT says only building 1 or 2 pages with a microsite is bad, right? That's a landing page. It's not going to work because Google wants depth, even on EMDs.
Interesting. So we've discussed this at length. So is this a microsite when it's 30 to 50 pages? Well, turns out that 5 pages is a landing page in Google's eyes, not a microsite. So that is interesting.
100% agree with this. This is why our strategy works, right?
Yes.
Because it's built out. All right, number 6 is not doing local relevance right. So most websites fail on no local references, no service area details, no embedded maps, no local outbound links, and no local entities. Okay. What do you?
So this gives me an idea. So there is room for improvement for us still, but we do most of these. We do. So we are very heavy on the service area and the service area details. We do embedded maps, local entities, local references. Well, if that is covered on the citations somewhat, I don't think we target those specifically, and also no local outbound links. So those two could be interesting to explore at some point. But most of those we do.
80/20 yet again, we do. So somewhat agree. Number 7, slow hosting or bad technical setup will destroy your rankings. Common mistakes: cheap hosted, not using Cloudflare, no compression, images are too large, and slow LCP, which is load-in time.
Yeah. So that is all fixed with our setup. And this is actually what we set out to fix, like definitively fix. So our software setup is proprietary for the most part, and it's all dialed in to fix exactly this stuff.
That was the point. Like, let's take care of this
Yes.
stuff so we can roll them out. So 100% agree. Number 8 is duplicate or near duplicate content across the sites. Okay, well, I thought I was going to say something else. So duplicate content across all the websites, which we don't do, right? We don't do duplicate content across websites, but we do have duplicate content on the websites.
I don't agree with this one. I think we have both. So near duplicate content across sites. I do think if you would put like a couple of sites from the same cluster that were built in the same time frame, if you put them side by side, you would call that near duplicate content, I'd say. Because we use the same example content, the same prompting structure. And so the output is going to be similar and the heading structure is very much the same. So, so it says you need to use unique CTAs. We don't necessarily do that. We don't do a lot of variant prompting. Unique supporting pages, we don't do that. Some of them are templated. So I would say, while this is a hot topic in the community as well, I think we have proof that it is not as big of a problem as people think.
Maybe because each of our websites has a different core entity associated with it, different images, different about us concepts, different addresses, phone numbers. Like the core of NAP is different for each website. Maybe that helps us a bit.
That's very true. I agree with that. I think that maybe again 80/20, the on page like heading structure and the exact words being near duplicate is not as important as the primary entity being near duplicate. I think that is a good point.
All right, number 9, no conversion optimization. So traffic without leads equals useless, and leads go away when there's no phone number above the phone, no sticky CTA, no credibility, no testimonials, no photos. We get leads. What do we do to get those leads with our microsites?
Well, we do have phone numbers above the fold, multiple places, hero section, in the navigation. On mobile, we have a sticky CTA. So that is front and center, call us now, scrolling with you. Credibility, I think our sites feel very professional, and because it is a proprietary stack and we have built the template ourselves, it feels more authentic. So I think that is very credible. I don't think we have a lot of testimonials, but with the sites that have a GMB activated now, we could start and collect reviews and do real testimonials as well. And we do photos, obviously, all pages.
Number 10, interesting. Ignoring build index authority sequence. What does that mean? Most people build a 20-page microsite and expect instant ranking. The right sequence is build the core pages. And remember, this is by ChatGPT. This is not me saying this is the best way, right? This is what it's saying. Build the core pages, run index and cycle, send authority, expand the topical cluster.
It also says people skip number 2 and 3, so run indexing cycle and send authority, and then they wonder why they're stuck on page 3. I think we do exactly this sequence, but we don't really expand the topical cluster. We could start doing that, but we haven't yet. But it seems it thinks the 80/20 is the build out, publishing, and then citations is what I would say.
I tend to agree.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, if we expand the topical cluster, we'll do new pages, new blog posts. I mean, I'm of the persuasion that local businesses, local websites do not need blogs anymore. I mean, I've seen it. We have 78 microsites that rank, right? Some of them do great, mediocre, and some don't. But we don't have blogs on any of them.
Oh, and they're not going to make a difference. I agree with you. I think if we add blogs to the worst performing websites, I think they're still going to have trouble ranking, to be honest.
Number 11, no GBP or incorrect GBP strategy. I like this one. So Google Business Profile is a cheat code for microsites, but mistakes include wrong categories, inconsistent NAP, not using EMD variations, not posting photo updates, no photos, no reviews. This one's fun. Let's talk about this. We
Yeah,
don't have
so No, no GBPs on any except one. So I don't agree with the first part. We do not need Google Business Profiles to rank.
I like them
But the
though
second
because
part,
it works really well when you get them.
yep, it 5x the lead flow overnight. So that is exciting, to be honest. Yeah, for sure. But I think what ChatGPT is coming at here is just traditional GMB optimization. So everybody with a GMB needs to do this stuff correctly, and so as long as you do that correctly, there's not a problem. But if you don't have a GMB, it's not a problem as well.
I had, before we did our project together with our custom CMS, I tested microsites in a certain niche, right? I built them via WordPress. In one of them, I got a Google Business Profile. And because it's an EMD, an exact match domain, and I put it smack dab in the center of town, when I type in my town and I see Google thinks, city center's there, boom, I put it right there. And I have no reviews, I have no GBP optimization, and it ranks so well. So I think the on-off switch of GBP is 80/20. If you have one or if you don't have one. But you don't need one because we crush it without them. So
And that website is pretty old, right? It's been ranking consistently for how long? A year or something?
year and a half, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, and it's maintaining. All right, number 12, wrong keyword targeting. So most microsites target high competition terms, terms with no commercial intent, keywords too broad for a local EMD.
100% agree.
Yeah,
This
you're
is
going to go
at the
after,
core of our strategy, I think.
that's right, 100%. If you're going to go after electricians, Baltimore, like, good luck.
We have, I want to say 5 or 8 sites that are very broad, and no, I don't think any of them have worked.
There's the one that we did get the Google profile, the business profile.
It's true. That is a pretty broad one, but that is a pretty somewhat of an obscure niche. I think
Oh, you're right.
it's
You're
not
right.
it's not like it's not as well known as things like plumbing or something.
You could argue that it's a sub niche for sure. Okay, so this one is a spot on. Now, number 13 is no tracking, no data. Most microsite owners don't track calls, forums, CTR, balance, rankings. Yes, this is an issue that we run into as well. What are your thoughts?
I think if you track lead flow, that is the 80/20. So we do track calls, we do track forums, we don't track CTR, bounce rate, or rank. Well, we do track rankings, but we don't really use that data as much as we could, as it's just not really necessary at this point. So I think ChatGPT overcomplicates things a little bit here.
I do too. And I get a little persnippety when we have to pay for ranking AccuRanker on
Yeah,
microsites when there's going to come a point like, who cares? If it's getting leads, that's all I care about. I don't care where it's ranking. I think we did that initially to understand how they rank.
that's true. The data is, I think, valuable to know where to build more and get some like clarity on what works and what doesn't. Also, to see which SERPs are ranking well and which features are ranking well. So there is some value in that data, but it is very expensive. And I like you recommend to people in the community all the time not to care about rank tracking at all. And I like that. I think if you only know uh, visitors and lead flow, that is all the information you need. Unless you're going to build out a big portfolio and you want to optimize over time, then you need some like rank data, like performance data. But other than that, not necessarily.
I think the reason I recommend that is because if you're going to spend the money and more aptly the time to care about the rankings the first 3 months, you would have been better off building 10 more microsites.
That's very true. Yes. And this is, I am missing a couple of things on this list. If you, I don't know if you think this is comprehensive at all, or should we get into it?
I mean, I have time if you have time.
I think that this is more about the SEO part of it, but what's missing is like the mentality, like the psychology of building out these things. And one of the most important pitfalls I see, I think, and this was something that I needed to overcome myself, is just perfectionism, like being attached to the single site you're building, like diving too deep into all this data because we can get so much data nowadays, or overthinking and overcomplicating the keyword research or the design and things like that. And I think the biggest pitfall is like stopping your own momentum, because you could do, as you said, 10 websites for the cost of the ranking data. So just omit the rank tracker at first, just build 50 sites. You're gonna have a winner, definitely, as opposed to like overthinking it.
think, and I agree 100%. And to add to that, the times in my life when I overthought things and it led to indecision had to do with it being affixed to a large amount of money, a large investment. But people have no excuse to have that analysis paralysis here because it costs hardly anything to roll these out.
Exactly. And that is the beauty of it. So this is the perfect cash flow first bootstrap business. If you invest 5 hours, or people do it in 2 now, I think, once they get the hang of it, you can roll out the site, and it costs you perhaps a couple of like 10, 20, 30 bucks, depending on whether you do citations or not. And then the monthly carrying cost is like, you can just ignore it altogether. So you could run a portfolio of 10, 20, 30 sites within a couple of months if you want,
Absolutely.
without hardly any cost.
And if you want to hire a VA to do it, right? Some people, I think we should create a module in the community of teaching people how to hire a VA to do this. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is a good topic. There are so many like tiny hacks to make your life easier when hiring VAs. And if you find a good VA, that is a lifesaver for sure.
Oh, yeah. We have one VA who's practically built all of the microsites, right?
Yes, 78 of them. Well, we have a second VA now that is doing like uh, the last 12. But yeah, most of them. Yep. I can't imagine doing all of those myself, to be honest.
I think we're similar, and most people are. Like I go out, I see it as like exploratory. Figure out how to do the thing. Number one,
Yeah.
do it yourself, and never do it again.
Yeah,
Have
do
someone
5
else.
sites and then, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I just get bored with it. But if you have an effective strategy, just have someone else do it.
Absolutely.
What else? I think 13 things from ChatGPT. It did a good job. I'd say it's like 70% accurate. Um, yeah.
Yeah, but it omitted the entire psychology of it. And I think that all boils down to perfectionism, and all the variants thereof. And I think that if you see the system for what it is and the opportunity for what it is, and you're willing to get your hands dirty, just roll with it and get the momentum and don't stop. I think that is the entire gist of it. Um, but when you start overthinking or tinkering too much, so a good example of that is somebody messed up their site that was doing well, technical issues, and is stuck at what should I do next? Should I fix this site? Should I save this site? And I told them to just simply build 5 more, because you have proven this thing, it works. Yeah, but technically I've messed it up. Well, no, you did one experiment and it worked, and then something went wrong, and that is okay, because instead of troubleshooting this one, you could have built out 5 more and you know it works. And so I think that is the biggest part of this. If you find something that works, just double down on it, don't let go.
There it is, right? ChatGPT had some ideas. I'd say it was like, what, 70% accurate? We have tested ideas that you would think are common knowledge as we've built out 78 microsites. And there's certain things that we were surprised by, right? So if you join the Rank Expand Academy, you have access to our templates, like the exact same things me and Shawn use, the same exact system that we are using to scale to 1,000 microsites. Why does it matter? Well, it's going to cut off time for you. Right, we've already figured out the system, and it is a system that anybody can repeat. So hopefully I see you in there, and realize me and Shawn did 2 other podcasts on microsites before this one. So make sure to go back in my channel, check it out. But I appreciate you watching, and I'll check you on the next one.